welcome to 534, I think.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm Sean.
I'm Ian, and this is the only podcast that says...
When a man meets a force he can't destroy, he destroys himself.
Nice.
What a plague you are. It's from 30 Days of Night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking for a movie like I hadn't quoted, and I was trying to think of something unique and interesting, and
Yeah.
I thought of that movie. I thought, I bet there's got to be something interesting in there, you know. And I was like, oh yeah, that works. That works rather nicely. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah. Tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. That will happen to you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anywho. I was on my way over here. And I had to do that fucked up thing. I had to put air in my tires.
Okay.
Yeah, like the little light comes on. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta put air in my tires.
Temperature change.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. And, you know,
Sorry.
and it wasn't like I had to, like they were all low. Like they were about 10 pounds low each. But, like, it's that worst thing, like, you had, like, because you do the side that's, like, right there. And, like, the way my get go is you have to pull up, like, next to it, not in front of the pump.
Right.
So you pull up next to it, and you do the two tires that are on the same side as the air pump.
Yeah.
And you've got to, like, go to the other side of the car. You've got to, like, try to, like, put the air in the tire while looking through, like, the car windows to, like, see, like, when it, like...
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Oh, it's the worst. I hate that. And I found out something very odd about my car.
Okay.
That if I had known this, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
Okay.
Apparently, they burn oil.
What?
Like, I get my oil changed like religiously every 3,000 miles.
Okay.
Or like as close to it as possible. Like maybe I go over a couple hundred because like I have to wait till payday or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like usually like it's right around 3,000 miles I get the oil changed.
Okay.
The last time right before I needed to get my oil changed, I was driving.
Uh-huh.
And I went around a bend, and all of a sudden, my check oil light came on. It came on, and then it like went off.
All right.
And I went around another bend and did the same thing.
Uh-huh.
And like 2 days later, I was getting the oil changed anyway, so I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, this past oil change, like I was like 3 weeks away
From
getting my oil changed.
Yeah.
And the check oil light comes on like that again.
Really?
I go and I check my oil and it's below low.
Really?
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, this isn't like, you know, I'm running this fucking thing into the ground.
Right.
You know, which I have done. You know,
Right.
I'll be the first to admit it. That's why I'm trying to baby this car. Like, you know, I'm really trying to take care of it, and I'm going the extra mile and changing the oil like every 3,000 miles religiously.
Right.
And I'm like, what in the fuck? So I started doing some research and looking into this. Because I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, it's got 70,000 miles on it. Like, why?
Right.
Well, I found this YouTube video where this guy was complaining about the car. He has a 2017 Kia Soul, just like I do.
Okay.
And he started noticing like it was going through oil like crazy.
Huh.
And he took it to Kia, and Kia's like, well, that's just what it does.
What do you mean?
That's what he was like. What do you mean?
Yeah.
That's what it's like. It's like I'm not. It's not like I'm. He's like, I'm changing my oil every 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
Like it was the same thing. Like he's like, I'm changing my oil every 3,000 miles. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And you're telling me, I need to put like a quart of oil in this thing every month, essentially. And like, yeah, it's, they go through oil, they use the oil up. And he's like,
why?
I don't know. Like, they didn't give him a reason why, but so that's the kind of thing I gotta keep an eye out for now.
Right.
I got like every time I put gas in the car, I got to go check my oil.
That's crazy.
It is. Like my next paycheck, I'm gonna like buy like 3 quarts of oil just to keep in the car.
That's fucking nuts.
It is. Like I was like, it concerned me because I'm thinking to myself like, there's something wrong with the engine.
Right.
I guess the first thing I'm thinking of, but I'm like, because there's no oil spot underneath where I park it.
Right.
There's no there's no indication that like it's like burning oil. Like you don't. There's a certain smell you get. Like I've had cars that burned oil, and like you can see it, or like it's just it eats through oil apparently for some reason.
How strange.
It is, and I'm just like that sucks because that's like I mean, if you go to like a oil, not an oil, like a car parts store.
Yeah.
You can get oil like at a decent price, like $4 a quart.
Right.
As compared to like I was stopping at like Get Go and dropping 6 or 8.
Oh, I know.
So I'm like, that's not gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to like, go to an auto parts store and get a like 3 quarts of oil just to keep in the car. Like,
I know.
That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like you'd think you'd get a better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very frustrating because it's like, I mean, it's extra, $12 to $15 you're adding on to like what your oil change was. And like I even added, like I even went,
wow,
because the place I normally go, like I was kind of blaming them. I thought, well, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe like they don't have the oil filter tight, or maybe they don't have like maybe I'm missing something. So I went to like another oil change place.
Yeah.
Just past the oil change. But like after like getting this information, I was like, it has nothing to do with has nothing to do with where I'm getting my oil change. It has everything to do with just the fact that the fucking thing eats oil.
I just find it so odd that it eats that much oil.
Yeah. That's like ridiculous.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just very odd. I didn't think these things were so loud.
Oh yeah. Jeez. Yeah. Plastic Rafters are loud. I'm sorry. Yeah. Ian's got a bundle of cards he's going through, and as he's talking, so we may not have his full attention.
You have my thoughts.
So besides me finding out my car eats oil, how have you been? What have you been up to?
Nothing. Just fixing up this room and the working.
Yeah.
Took the girls out to Red Robin tonight.
Yeah. I heard about that. That was a debacle.
We got the pretzels and beer cheese, and we got pizzas or appetizers.
Yeah.
Pizza's very good.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's like a flatbread pizza.
Sort of flat, but it was like a mini appetizer size. It wasn't that big, but it was very tasty. And we all got our burgers, and mine was. She said, how do you want it done? I was like, medium. And mine was like rock hard.
Yeah.
And it's burned. But I didn't say nothing. It's
right.
The girls got theirs, and they were mooing, man. I mean, I don't think...
I saw the picture of Elle's.
Yeah. And I don't think Ellie realized it until she was about halfway or more through her burger. But it was pink.
That's rough.
And Bree noticed it on hers, and she ate half of hers, and hers was pretty rare too.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even say anything about my burger.
Yeah.
And so I told the waitress, and it's like she wasn't even talking to me. I mean, like she was on her phone and shit, and I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry about that. I'm like, okay, and no, I'm gonna get my manager, and I'm gonna this, that, and the other, nothing like that. And I wasn't a dick either.
Right.
I was just like, I did not make a scene. I was not.
Right.
I was in control. You know.
We didn't go full blown Karen.
No. I mean, I used to cook. I mean,
Right.
I know what it is. So anyway, so then a manager came over.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just wanted to let you know I took them off the bill. I was like,
cool.
I know they were checked at 160 because all our burgers have to come out checked. You know what I mean? I was like, I get that, but I never checked burgers when I was behind the line.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, you're behind the line. I was like, yeah, I used to cook. I said, I was like, we asked for medium burgers, and that's pink, but brother, that's real pink, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, there's no way you taught the 160 out of that.
Yeah.
You didn't have it deep enough for you to put it all the way through. Because there was no way that's 160.
Right.
And so he comped the burgers.
Right.
Not mine. I just stayed shut about mine.
Right.
So he comped the burgers. Plus, I ate the whole thing. So.
Yeah.
And then he gave me another 10% off. Just for being cool.
Yeah.
He was like, gave me another 10% off.
That's cool.
And then he threw free appetizer and milkshake cards to the girls.
That's cool.
And then we talked for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's cool.
Just about anything. You know what I mean? Just talking. So, So, kudos to Red Robin for doing it right.
For the manager for doing it right. Waitress, not so much.
Yeah, but the manager, he did it right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good management.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do
right.
in the restaurant business as a previous manager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, he did it right. I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah.
Any bullshit, he was personable, and, everything was good, So not only we get the burgers comp, we got another 10% off, and then we got...
Yeah. That's cool.
Then we got, the girls got free milkshake or appetizer or dessert, whatever they can choose, they get it free. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I mean, you send out raw food that can bury you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can.
Yeah.
Burnt food's one thing. Raw food's
completely different.
all that stuff. So anyway, so that happened. What else? Finished Doom Patrol. That was brutal.
Yeah. I guess don't watch it.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
The last scene is brutal.
Great.
Yeah.
Get your tissues ready, Sean.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Just the last scene alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking sucked. So, what else? I think if I watched anything. Steeler game was pretty good.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did we?
We did, yeah, because that was a Thursday game.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, that was a Thursday game. We got Green Bay this week.
Yeah. Well, did you hear the news from the Penguins yesterday?
No.
On, I think it's February 13th.
Uh-huh.
They are raising 68 to the Rafters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're retiring Jagr's number.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Is he going to show up, you think?
He is, yeah. They've already done promos with him and stuff, and he'll show up. They're retiring his fucking number.
Yeah.
I think his art was set in motion. I know he was in during the summer.
Yeah.
And I think that was like when they talked to him about like.
I remember
your
that.
Number.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
Because the rumor was that he was going to come back and play.
Yeah, that was a big rumor. He was going to sign a contract and play, and it was like, I mean, Jagr's 51.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's still probably better than the bottom third of the NHLers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's still putting up numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, in Czech League.
Like, I don't know if I'd want him for a full season. Like, if you gave me Jagr after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, they're going to raise his number to the Rafters, which I think is like. I think it's interesting because they have the Penguins have been very. I mean, they've only retired 2 numbers.
Hey, what's that?
They've only retired 2 numbers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so like for Jagr to be the 3rd one to be like, I mean, I know they've like got a Hall of Honor or a Ring of Honor or something like that, but
yeah,
but to like retire a jersey is completely different.
Right.
And they've been very selective and very tight about what numbers they retire.
Right.
I think it, it's on like Crosby's going to go up, but
yeah. Malkin will probably go up too.
Malkin will probably go up too, and maybe even Letang.
Yeah.
Like but I was surprised.
Park.
Huh? Yeah. Jimmy Pack.
Yeah, Jimmy Pack. Park.
Yeah. I mean, but I have been surprised. Like there haven't been a couple others from like that 90s Cup run that haven't gone up. Like, I hate him as a human being, but I cannot deny that Tom Barrasso was an amazing goalie.
Yeah.
And his number should be hanging from the rafters as well.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, to me, just because he's like one of my all-time favorite Penguins, Ulf Samuelsson should be up there.
Ulfie?
Ulfie, I loved Ulfie. But I feel like Malkin, Crosby, Letang, and in all honesty, in my opinion, Fleury.
Yeah, you think?
I think the biggest mistake the Penguins have ever made was letting him go.
Oh, I agree.
I understand why they did from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't carry the contract.
Yeah.
But just from the standpoint of how bad the goalie situation has been.
Oh, since?
Oh. And how well he has played in other places.
I know.
Like, he's 3rd all-time in shutouts. Like, 3rd all-time in saves. I think he's like 4th or 5th all-time in wins.
Yeah. I don't know how you can let a guy like that go.
Yeah. I remember being bummed out.
It really bummed the city out.
It did. Like, it really did. Like, it was like one of those few times. Cause, I mean, they let him go in the expansion draft to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was one of those rare times where like we all knew it was going to happen, and we were still pissed that it happened.
Oh yeah.
Like it was
the whole
like
city was pissed.
Yeah. Like it was really like a downer for this city when they let Fleury go.
Oh, I know. It was terrible.
It was like a dark day in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was not good. I mean, it just wasn't a good thing to do. I don't know if they had. Well, they were so sold on what's his name,
Murray. Yeah, I mean they were sold on Murray, and then after Murray comes Jarry, and Jarry's. He's like when he plays well, you're like, that's why we signed him and that's why we kept him.
Right.
But when he plays bad, like you're like, oh, what were we thinking? Like, and I mean, when he stinks, he really stinks.
Yeah, he does.
Like there's no in between with Tristan Jarry.
Right.
Like he's either like phenomenal or he is awful.
Right.
And like it's just that thing of like. And people were like, "Oh, they made a mistake in signing him to a long-term deal." And I'm like, "There's nobody out there from the signed. They don't have anybody coming up.
There's nobody out there.
Yeah, like the goalie market was dry. He was the high point. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why they signed him. I mean,
I know.
I mean, it's that thing though of like, man, if we had just kept Fleury, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Yeah. I don't know why we just didn't keep him.
Because he was making, like, they couldn't afford to keep him and everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, that was the problem. Like, his contract was so big, it was just, and they thought Matt Murray was the answer. Like they really did. Like, and like when he like just like floundered, like he you remember the Moose? I can't remember the dude's name. He like came up like mid-season. He was like he had the Moose mask. Like years ago, like in the 90s.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I mean, I remember, but I don't remember the name.
Yeah. I can't remember his name either. Like, I actually stood in line at a Kmart to get his autograph.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
And, but like, it was like just one of those things where it was like, oh, we've got ourselves a goalie. I mean, he was like 27, still playing in the minors and stuff. But we've got ourselves our goalie. And like, after like one go around, like everybody figured him out.
Really?
Yeah, like it was like he was garbage after that.
Really?
Like, yeah.
What was his name? Edberg?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, Hedberg.
Yeah.
That was it, Hedberg. And I think that's when they went and got Ron Tugnut. The old Tugger.
Yeah.
But still going back, like it's interesting. Like I think it's interesting that I love that they're retiring Jagr's number. I love like he spent the biggest part of his career in Pittsburgh. You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like he won 2 cups here. He was the captain. He was, after Mario retired for a period, he was the face of the franchise, and he carried that burden rather well.
Yeah.
You know, they tried to build a team around him of speed at a time when speed was not winning in the NHL.
Right.
And, like, I remember going to that 5 overtime game against the Flyers.
The game that never
that never ended. Yeah. But the funny thing about that game was, like, in the pregame, I'm sitting there, and I had seats really, really close to the ice, like right behind the goalie, like down low, like 5 rows up from like where the Zamboni comes out.
Yeah.
And you're watching them warm up, and you're watching the Flyers warm up. I'm like, the Flyers are huge.
Uh-huh.
They're monsters. And like the Penguins were like all these little guys who were just fast.
Yeah.
And like it was like one of those deals where like if they got caught, you know, they were dead.
Right.
But like, I mean, when they were flying.
They were fast. Oh, we were fast.
Yeah. But unfortunately the NHL didn't reward you for being fast.
Right.
That was a time when it was like, you know, the left wing lock and, you know, all that other, you know, grabbing players was like perfectly legal.
Oh, that was Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
It was Jersey games. 80s and 90s Jersey Devils. Oh my God.
Yeah. Worst.
I would not watch hockey. I wouldn't even watch the game. I could not stand watching Jersey games.
It would, like, they were the most boring games you could watch.
Yeah.
It was just center ice, icing, center ice, icing, center ice, icing.
And they just shut down.
Yeah.
I mean, they were good at what they did. I'm not denying that.
Right.
But, holy hell. They lived for the 1-0.
They did.
1-1 tie.
Like, Marty Brodeur was like I don't doubt, like, the greatness of Martin Brodeur.
Okay.
But, like, Martin Brodeur was also really helped by the fact that, like, the style of play that they had, he wasn't facing a ton of great scoring chances.
Right.
As compared to, like...
Agreed.
You know,
yeah,
the Penguins. You know?
Right. Agreed.
So it's like that thing of, like I don't want to doubt his greatness because he was a great goalie. But at the same time, I almost want to put an asterisk next to his name because, like, he played in the era of the left wing lock that was just...
Oh.
This is just awful hockey.
Wasn't it the worst to watch?
It was.
It's just...
Like, I can't understand how, like people in New Jersey... I get it. You win a championship, you win a championship. You don't care how the fuck you did it.
Right.
But, like, it was just, like... How could you, like, get excited for this brand of hockey?
Right. Yeah, it was so horrible to watch.
Like, it was clutch and grab, and it was, you know... We're just going to take it... We're just going to wait and wait and wait until we finally get, like, the perfect opportunity.
Right.
and they took advantage of that. Like it was just, it wasn't fun hockey to watch. Like I can at least like the Red Wings, like when they were winning, like they were at least fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
with like Yzerman and those guys.
Yeah.
Like that was at least fun hockey to watch. Like Dallas and Colorado and Jersey were just playing that horrific fucking lock it down. We're just gonna play at center ice all game. Yeah, oh, it was awful. I hated it.
I don't miss those days.
No, neither do I.
Because Jersey wasn't even worth it. The Jersey game was never worth, to me, worth watching.
No.
Because it just wasn't worth watching.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, let me ask you. In Pittsburgh sports,
Okay.
out of the three major franchises,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to throw in Pitt football and basketball as well, just in case. Who in like, who do you think deserves to have their number retired?
4-0. I don't. What do you mean?
Like, you know, like out of like the
I mean, I know what you're talking about.
right, like the Steelers don't retire numbers; they've retired a total of 3.
Yeah.
Like the Penguins have retired a total of 3 now, and I think the Pirates have retired 7 or 8.
Okay.
Okay, like they don't have many either over the years. I think Pitt's retired, I think 8
Okay.
for football, and I think 5 for basketball.
Okay.
So like, in the time that you've watched sports, like is there a player on whatever franchise that you like? Man, that player deserves to have their number retired. They should be hung in immortality for whatever franchise it was that they played for, out of the Pittsburgh teams.
Okay. I can't think of anybody from the Pens. Maybe Barrasso.
Yeah.
Hockey. I mean, maybe Polamalu
Okay.
and Ben.
Okay.
I would say. Thinking.
Yeah.
Pirates out. And Pitt, I'm not sure who's been retired and who hasn't. Like Mike Ditka, is his number retired?
Ditka's number's retired.
Yeah.
All right. With like Ditka, Marino,
Yeah.
Tony Dorsett, Hugh Green,
Okay.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, really? They retired Larry's number?
They retired number 1.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else. Like Owen Schmidt.
Yeah.
I would say for the Steelers,
I think Ben's number should be retired. He got a couple Super Bowls. You know what I mean? He was with the team for
right. I mean, the Steelers is tough because it's like, again, like you've only got like 3 guys who've ever had their retire number.
Who are those people?
I think Ernie Stodmeyer,
Okay.
who was like from the 50s.
Okay.
Joe Green and Franco Harris.
Okay.
That's it. Like,
That's cool, Joe Green.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I feel like Green and Harris makes sense because it's like that was the cornerstone of the 70s dynasty.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I like if you apply the criteria of that, like just for those 2 guys,
Right.
I don't think you ever retire another number again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I think like the Steelers. I mean, you're right. Like I think Ben should have his number retired. Probably Polamalu. I mean, they're going to go into the Steelers Hall of Honor, more than likely.
Yeah.
You know, Paul Mall is in the Hall of Fame. When it's Ben's turn, he's going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I don't think, like with the Steelers, like they're because it's been like 50 years of.
Do you think if the Immaculate Reception never happened, do you think Franco would be in the Hall of Fame? I mean, they would have retired Franco's number.
Probably not. I mean, I'm sure the Immaculate Reception is a big part of that. Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, I mean, he's the cornerstone, like not Bradshaw.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's Franco that's the cornerstone of like that offense.
Right.
And it was Joe Green on the defense.
Right.
I would say, like, and I would not raise an eyebrow if they retired Mel Blount's number. I think as much as Green and Franco were cornerstones, I think Mel Blount is probably one of, if not the greatest corners to ever play the game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just he was that dominant, even after they changed the rules. A rule that, by the way, bears his name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they changed the rules because of Mel Blount.
Wow.
Like the whole 5-yard chuck rule. That's the Mel Blount rule.
Yeah.
That you can't chuck a guy after 5 yards because of Mel Blount was just destroying people downfield.
Really?
Yeah. And then when they changed the rule, he got even better.
Yeah.
Because he was so long and lanky. Like, he was very Joey Porter Jr.-esque when you think about, think about his build. Because Joey Porter's tall and he's lanky. And so was Mel Blount. Mel Blount was 6'2", and he had a wingspan like a fucking eagle.
Yeah.
He just, and so, once you changed the rule, the 5-yard chuck rule came into effect. He was still able to keep up with these fast receivers downfield and knock balls away or cause interceptions because he was so long.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's probably the Steeler I would choose. I guess I already talked about for the Penguins. I think it would be Barrasso would be the guy who's from that era should go up. And I'm about to get controversial. For the Pirates, I would retire at 25. Barry Bonds.
Yeah. I mean, I see that.
Yeah, people forget.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's that thing. He probably played the majority of his career with the San Francisco Giants.
Right.
He's most known for being a San Francisco Giant.
Sure.
But he was a 30-30 man with the Pirates. 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases.
Yeah.
He was those 3 years, 90, 91, and 92. Barry Bonds was a dominating force.
Right.
Bonds, Bonilla, Van Slyke, that outfield was amazing.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of the last thing you remember Barry Bonds for is just being off on his throw to LaValliere to get what's his name out to play against the Braves and National League Championship Series game. Sid Bream. He couldn't get Sid Bream. Fucking Sid Bad Knees Bream. He couldn't get him the fuck out. But when I remember Barry Bonds, it was this dominant player who people feared, but you couldn't pitch around them because you had Van Slyke, you had Bonilla, it was just a killer's.
Right.
They would have I can't remember who the leadoff man was, but it never felt he'd get on first, and then Jay Bell would sacrifice Bunham to second, and then Bonilla would hit him in. It was you started off with a 1-0 lead. It never failed.
Yeah.
Because of, and then Bonds would hit a home run or whatever. I mean, it was it was just insanity to watch. And people forget that. They remember juiced up Bonds breaking the home run record and stuff. But when Barry Bonds was a Pirate, he was a 5-tool player.
Yeah.
And
so you'd retire Bonds.
I'd retire Bonds, and when he's done, Andrew McCutchen's number 22 deserves to go up.
Yeah, you think?
The only reason I say that, in all honesty, first off, a better guy you'll never meet.
Yeah.
Like, everybody who talks about Andrew McCutchen, and, like, Andrew McCutchen, when he talks about Pittsburgh, like, Pittsburgh is his home.
Right.
Like, he's like, I'm a Yinzer. Like, it hurt me to leave when I had to leave.
Oh, he didn't want to leave.
No, he didn't want to leave, but
he still lived here.
Yeah. Like, his wife still lived here and everything.
Yeah.
But, and then, like, what he meant as far as breaking that curse, that 21-year curse of losing seasons. Like, from 1992,
All right.
For 21 years, the Pirates didn't have a winning season.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, well, we didn't make the playoffs. They didn't have a winning season. They weren't even 500. Like, 500 was like a pipe dream for 21 years.
Right.
And for McCutchen to, like, go in and that team to be built around him and, like, to be a part of that one night, that one night against the Reds, that wild card game, the Cueto game.
Uh-huh.
Like, I know you'll tell me it was Russell Martin that hit the home run off of Cueto, but, like, McCutchen was the catalyst of everything that happened to get the Pirates to that point.
Yeah.
And that moment in time, that like we talk about all the time, like, Harrison's run back for the interception and Antonio Holmes for the catch in the end zone. And,
Yeah.
like, all these great plays, and we talk about, like, the things that Mario did. We talk about the things that Sid's done. Joey Cueto dropping that ball. Like, he's the pitcher for the Reds.
Yeah.
And the crowd, first off, like, the thing I always, like, I would go to PNC Park and I would always envision, like, just the entire, like, thing just blacked out. Like, everybody wearing black, Jolly Rogers waving in the stands. And that night, like, watching that game, my dream came true because that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was the fans wore black, the Jolly Rogers were waving in the stands. The fans are chanting Cueto. Cueto, Cueto. And he dropped the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Like, he's standing on the mound and it just fell out of his glove.
Yeah.
And he picks up the ball because he's shook. Like, you could just see the stands shaking when he dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And he threw, like, his very next pitch to Russell Martin. Martin takes over the left field wall.
Yeah.
And the place explodes. Like, the only thing I could ever compare that to is Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals against the Chicago Blackhawks, 92.
Yeah.
Like, that was that they won that game 5-4 on that last second goal by Mario. He off the face off, and Mario hits that slap shot to, like, in the Civic Arena, like, the roof went lifted off of that fucking building that night. And Russell Martin hitting that home run off of Cueto after he dropped the ball is probably the closest thing I've ever heard similar to that sound in the arena that night. Because that place exploded. Absolutely exploded. And, like, it's that thing of, like, there are Pirates fans. I'm a Pirates fan.
Yeah, I know.
And you just get so starved for... And the worst part, like, Bob Nutting deserves nothing. Bob Nutting is, like, the worst owner almost in all of sports. Like, he is. Like, he is the worst. Like, the day he finally sells this team is, like, the day I will celebrate in the streets.
Okay.
Like, he is the worst owner in all of Major League Baseball and quite possibly in all of sports. And, like, it's a joke. It's a fucking... Like, there were 25 players who made more money than the entire Pirates roster this past season.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. It's insanity. Now, you can say, well, it's insanity that players are getting paid that much. You're right. I'm not going to deny that. But still, like, I'm just going into the offseason knowing that Shohei Ohtani is not going to be a Pirate next year.
Yeah.
Because the Pirates won't pony up the money.
And that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. It's just irritating.
It is. It's extremely irritating.
I mean, at least be competitive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least make the playoffs here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like a playoff series, make you know,
like
show your face once every couple of years.
Yeah, like it is. Like I mean, I'm almost expecting I know after following the team last year, like there's a lot of hope for next season. Like next season, like they're talking like this should be a playoff team because there's a lot of young talent. But the problem becomes like I know that young talent's gone in 5 years.
Right.
Like that's the whole problem. Like I can't sink my teeth into the team and the players because I know they're gone.
Yeah.
Before you know it. And they're playing for the Cubs, they're playing for the Dodgers, they're playing for the Yankees, they're playing for the Red Sox. Like the usual suspects are just going to scoop them up.
Right.
But it becomes frustrating because like why bother?
Yeah.
Like if you gave me hope that the team was going to stick around, like you were going to pay players.
Right.
Then I would be excited.
Right.
But I can't get excited because I know this is Pirates baseball.
Right.
And
this is how it's going to be.
And the worst part of it is, like, there are other teams that are stuck that way. The Kansas City Royals are stuck in the same loop.
Really?
Right. But the difference is, when the opportunity arose, Kansas City went all in and won a World Series.
Right.
They're a small market team. They had the young talent. They went out and they spent a little extra to get that guy or two that they needed to put themselves over the hump.
Right.
And they went and won a World Series. Now, immediately after that, the team gets dismantled.
Yeah.
But, like, if you were at least willing to go all in to try to win a World Series at one point.
Right.
And then I would be like, thank you very much. Right. At least you tried.
Right.
But they don't even do that.
Yeah. No, they don't. They don't do anything.
No.
It's actually, I don't know.
The Pirates at the trade deadline are either sellers or they're quiet.
Yeah.
They're either selling high-end talent because they can't afford to keep them, or they do nothing.
Yeah.
And this offseason, they will end up like they'll like wow, big signing for the Pirates. It's like somebody's second team first baseman who he's 30, 35, he's washed, but he can still play.
Right.
And they got him at a discounted rate because he's got bad knees.
Right.
That's the guy they're bringing in.
I know that's so irritating. It just pisses me off. It's embarrassing for the city. You know what I mean? And people don't even know what like good Pirate baseball is.
Yeah.
Especially the younger generation.
Right. And what makes it even more frustrating is just the simple fact, like, it's like you have this amazing stadium.
You do.
But
do you think that, like
the only time it gets like shown on a national basis if they get the All-Star game to come to town.
Right.
Like it'll never be shown on a national basis on the World Series stage, and that's a sin.
And the thing is too, I mean, do you just think that do you think that this younger generation are just going, it's not even about baseball anymore? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think they are. I mean, if you think about it, there was 21 years of non-winning baseball. So that generation, those kids who grew up in that 21-year period, what is Pirate baseball? It's fireworks and bobbleheads.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what they go for. I mean,
yeah,
like that's the thing. Like they'll pull attendance because they'll have 10 or 12 fireworks nights a year. They'll have 7 or 8 bobblehead nights.
Right.
You know, they'll do things to like draw a crowd because of like their giveaways. But you know, otherwise, like it's not a situation where like there's somebody who grew up in that era and they're just saying on a Tuesday night, I got nothing to do. Maybe I'll go to a pirate game.
Right.
Because that's what I did.
Right.
Like I would go to Three River Stadium on like a random Tuesday, and you know, like $10, I'm sitting like on the first base line.
Right.
You know, and I'm enjoying a pirate game. Like you could get amazing seats for like you walk up. When after the first 2 years of PNC Park, it was the same thing. I could walk up on game day, and I was buying tickets behind home plate.
Right.
You know, I wasn't down in the luxury area,
right.
But I was right behind home plate. Like
I know you would tell me about those seats.
Yeah, like you could get amazing seats. Walk up and that'll be $25. That's awesome. Okay,
Right.
Buy myself a Pepsi, buy myself some popcorn, sit there and enjoy a game.
It's crazy.
It is. But that's like what I used to do. Like on a random, like I wasn't looking like, well, what's the giveaway? Like I could care less. It was like, it's a random Tuesday. I'm just going to see a pirate game because I'm off and I got nothing to do.
Right. Crazy.
Yeah. Can't do that for a Steeler game.
No.
Depending on the Penguin game, you can do it. I'm sure you could probably walk up and still get a decent seat on some nights. Not every night, but some.
Some.
Yeah. So, I also watched, getting off of sports. We're so sports-centric anymore.
I know. Because I've been getting rip packs.
Yeah. I watched a movie today.
Okay.
Called The Killer.
Okay.
It's got Michael Fassbender in it. Directed by David Fincher.
Okay.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's a Netflix original. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It's slow though. That's the like. It's interesting. What's interesting about it is it. Like in this type of movie, you would expect it to be like this fast-paced action movie.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Okay.
Like it's very slow boiling.
Okay.
Because he's a hitman.
Yeah.
And he misses his target.
Okay.
Now, it takes you 20 minutes to get to that point.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, but it's interesting because it's him talking about, like, the beginning, he's like, if you get bored easily, if you can't handle the boredom, this isn't the job for you.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not, and that's the whole thing is like, it's him we're just waiting for the target.
Right.
And that's what that 20 minutes is.
Right.
And it's like,
did he miss on purpose?
no.
He just missed, period.
He just missed, yeah.
Okay.
But like it becomes like this thing, like the majority of the dialogue in the movie is him narrating.
Okay.
And like everything that happens after that,
sorry,
that it's like there's no car chases. There's an amazing fight sequence at one point that I'm just like, wow, that. But like that, this doesn't end like with like this major like suspense and drama and action and everything you expect from like an action movie that you would think that this would be.
Right.
It's the exact opposite of all of that.
Okay.
But it's extraordinarily well done.
Okay. All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Like, Fassbender's fantastic, which you expect nothing less from him.
Right.
But, like, and, like, the way David Fincher, the way he directs this, it, like, it looks amazing while looking ordinary.
Okay.
Like, it's not like a Michael Mann movie or a Ridley Scott movie where you've got, like, all this like neon or like the way the lights are done. Like it's a very like everything about it is like the way it's even shot feels real.
Really?
Like I mean, I would love to get Otter. Like, not that Otter's a hitman, but like a lot of what takes place in this movie, it feels very. It feels real. Like I can't describe it any other way, and it's like so good. But it's slow. Like but it's meant to be slow because like what he does is slow.
Right.
You know?
No, I get that.
And I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Fassbender was good.
Oh yeah. Like that's the one thing I knew. Like I want two things. Like I know Fincher's gonna give me a good movie. Like he did Seven. He's done a ton of movies where like you look at what he does and you're like, oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, and this is right up there, as far as like. It has a feel.
Okay.
Like, and it's... I know it's very... And there's a lot of Smith's songs in the soundtrack.
I see.
Yeah. Like, Fincher uses a lot... Like, he usually combines a lot, like, with Trent Reznor.
Okay.
With, like... Especially recently. Like, when they did, like, the Facebook movie with Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Like that was like the first time Reznor did like a soundtrack.
Okay.
Like that. And he does it with Atticus. I want to say it's Atticus Finch, but I know that's wrong. I can't remember. There's another guy he does it with. But anyway, but that was like the first time they collaborated musically.
Okay. And
there's a lot of like you can tell like that's a lot of like, oh, that's Reznor in there. But like it's also very interesting because like Fassbender's character is constantly listening to music because he finds music to be a distraction that he needs.
Okay.
And he's listening to the Smiths constantly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if you like the Smiths, you'll love this movie.
Yeah.
So I watched that, and the new season for All Mankind was released. That's on Apple TV.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see how that goes. It's just one episode, but still. I was like,
was it good?
Yeah. Yeah, I like how it jumps forward in time like 10 years. Okay. But it like informs you. Like this is the major points of history that have taken place during this 10 years. Like it does a very good job of filling in those kind of gaps. Okay. And then this is where our story begins.
Yeah, I watched part of it.
Yeah.
And then, I thought it was good.
Yeah. That, and I watched the Loki finale.
How was that?
That is really good.
I mean, I know I have to start over, but how was the finale?
The finale's really good.
Okay.
Like, it is a proper ending for Loki. Okay. Like, there will not be a season 3.
No.
No. But I do wonder what exactly it means for Kang. Okay. Like there are some questions that are left open based upon like the guy who plays Kang. Like he's in a lot of legal trouble right now.
Is he?
Yeah. And like I haven't talked about it because like so much of that shit goes one way or the other, so I didn't want to get into the discussion. But apparently things are going bad for him. And so like people were like, well, you need to get Kang, we need to find a way to get out of Kang. And people have been floating like, well, you replace Kang with Doom. I'm like, okay. But
yeah, I mean, at this point, how do you bring him in?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you can bring him in with
the 4 movie.
The 4 movie.
Yeah. But
you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know how she would bring him in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But how, like, it becomes kind of like I guess, like, the Marvels also does some course correction as well, from what I've heard.
Okay.
as far as like what is actually like we may be getting out of the multiverse and out of like the whole Kang situation,
right,
and into something else. But I don't know. I haven't seen the Marvels yet.
Did that come out this weekend?
Yeah, it came out this weekend.
I'll probably wait for it. I'm just not into it right now.
Yeah, I get
You know
that.
what I mean? I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's just frame of mind. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I think part of it is, I think streaming has had an effect.
Yeah.
I honestly do, because I'm thinking to myself, like, do I want to go spend money to see this movie, or I just want to wait, until it comes on Disney Plus?
Right. I know.
And
It's weird.
Yeah, and there are some like Nancy's insisting that I have to go see the Hunger Games prequel movie with her. And I was like, I wasn't planning on going to see that in a theater, but okay,
Right.
Like, really? Okay.
And did you watch the series?
The Hunger Games, yeah, we went to go see that in theaters.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. But like the prequel, I was like, wait till that comes on HBO.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, we gotta go see that in the theater together. I'm like, really? Okay. That wasn't my plan.
Yeah. It's this whole thing with prequels with me. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, some of them are good. I mean, I'm not saying prequels in general, but what I'm saying is, like...
The only thing that would be interesting about a Hunger Games prequel to me would be a further explanation of what has happened to put us in this state.
Okay.
Like, to me, that would be interesting.
Okay.
Like, how did the districts come about? Like, the collapse of the United States. Like, all this would be very... Like, that aspect of it would be very interesting to me.
Okay.
Like, how Snow rises to power, not so much.
Right.
Now, I mean, this is, like, when this takes place, it's the 10th Hunger Games.
Right.
So, that, like, you're 10 years removed from whatever the war was, but, like, still, like, there's a lot of history there that, like, I would find much more interesting.
Then his rise to power?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, that's me. I mean, I don't know. Like, prequels are like sometimes like they're just not necessary.
No, they're forced. I think
Yeah.
some of them, and like you already know what happens.
Yeah.
So you're kind of taking it. You're
Like,
kind of taking it out of the. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like we knew, and even though it'll never be completed, like we knew the end game of those Harry Potter movies. I can't think of the name of them now. Yeah, like we knew the end game was Dumbledore and Grindelwald had to have their duel.
Right.
Like that's what this was all leading up to. The fifth film was going to be this.
Yeah.
That's where we were going, and I think that part of it kind of like when it became that, it was like, oh, okay, well that's the end game, so we know where this is going. So like everything after that first movie was like, you knew it was just filler to get to that point.
Right. No, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, can that filler be interesting? Sure.
Yeah.
But
when it comes down to it, you still know what's going to happen.
right. But yeah, there does become the problem of it's become predictable because I know what's going to happen at the end of this movie.
Right. And that's the whole thing. It's like, yeah, okay.
I always had that. I mean, that was the the error of the Star Wars prequels was they started with Anakin being too young.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought the first movie should have been, this is Anakin Skywalker, Jedi Knight. The second movie should have been the fall of Anakin Skywalker.
Okay.
And the third was the Jedi Purge. And eventually, like, the third movie still the fight between Vader and Obi-Wan on Mustafar.
Right.
But it's Vader, it's Anakin hunting Obi-Wan.
Right.
Like, that's what that movie should have been. Like,
Right.
that, like, you should have given me, like, the fall of Vader in the second movie.
Oh, yeah.
But
Well, we got pod racing. Just kidding.
yeah. But what I find, like, here's what's interesting about that. Like, you and I grew up in the era of the original trilogy.
Right.
There's a whole generation that absolutely loves the prequels. Like, absolutely loves them.
Really?
Yes, even the Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Because they were kids.
Okay.
Again, it all goes back to that whole, well, they're meant to be kids' movies.
Right.
You know, so, like, as much as I can't forgive the Phantom Menace for being that bad,
Right.
Like, I'm much better off with the second and the third movie. Like, there's a whole generation of kids who are just like, I love Jar Jar Binks. Like our generation is not embracing Ahmed Best still.
Right.
It's this younger generation that they're the ones who are going to these conventions, and they're you know, I love Hayden Christensen. He's a great actor. You know, they're the ones who are like, not that I mean, I would never come down on Ahmed Best for being Jar Jar Binks. It's not his fault.
Right.
I blame George Lucas for that. That's his fiasco.
Right.
You know, Hayden Christensen and his bad acting with the wooden dialogue that was given to him by George Lucas. I'm not going to go and troll Hayden Christensen about that. But I mean, there are people that have over the past 20 years. But there's a generation of younger people who are just like
Enamored.
yeah, like that's their guy.
Yeah.
You know, and now there's going to be another generation. Like in 20 years from now, they're going to be like, The Force Awakens was the shit.
Right.
Or The Rise of Skywalker was amazing. You know, like what?
I know.
So, it is interesting, like how through a younger generation's eyes, like those prequels, because that's what they grew up on.
Right.
You know.
As where we grew up on.
Right.
The OG.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to sequels and reboots.
Okay.
Did you see the trailer for Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I looked alright.
Yeah.
I
It
wasn't
gave
like-
you nothing.
Huh?
It gave you very little.
Yeah, I didn't really.
It did, and I've heard other people say this, and it was like the first thing I kind of thought of as well. It felt like an episode of the real Ghostbusters cartoon.
Okay.
Like I'm watching that trailer and I'm like, man, this feels familiar.
Right.
You know, not that I think it was stolen or anything. But apparently other people said that, and the director came out and said, yeah, that's what we were going for.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I was a fan of that cartoon.
Okay.
I thought that was a really, really well done cartoon for the day.
Okay.
And there was some episodes, especially anything that had to do with the Boogeyman,
Right.
that were really fucking good.
Okay.
For a kid's
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, for a kid's cartoon, it was extraordinarily well done. Batman the Animated Series level of writing.
Interesting. I never watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I kind of like blew it off at first too. I'm like, whatever, you know. But like,
It blew it off.
I did. Like, I was just like, you know,
Just a cartoon.
Yeah, I'm sure it's, you know, but like I started watching it,
Uh-huh.
and I like at this time I'm in my mid-teens,
Yeah.
you know, and I was just like, this feels more mature than I thought it would be, like for a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, wow, this is very impressive. Like, you know, and even going back and like watching like episodes on YouTube and stuff, like I find like, wow, this was really fucking well done for the day.
Yeah.
Like this was like ahead of its time as far as like what a cartoon was. Like, I mean, and cartoons, like even like the good cartoons, like you think back, like they were still like aimed directly at kids.
Yeah.
You know, and this was like a little bit more mature than like aiming at kids.
Right.
You know, and like like I thought like, well, the ghosts will be, you know, goofy and, you know, I mean, they had Slimer as a mascot and, you know,
Yeah.
you know, I thought, oh, this is just going to be cheesy, and the ghosts were like, you know, they were drawn like they were drawn in a way like it was like, okay, it's not that scary. Right. But what's going on the screen is
Okay.
like,
It's that good.
yeah, like it was very well done. Like it's one of those cartoons that like even going back and rewatching it today, it's like, man, that still holds up really well.
Really?
Especially, like I said, the stuff they did with the Boogeyman, because like they did like 2 or 3 episodes, and it was like the whole reason Egon became a Ghostbuster or became interested in the paranormal was because of his encounters with the Boogeyman as a child. Like, it went deep and dark.
Yeah, it sounds it.
It did. Like, I was like, oh shit, this is good. This is really well done.
Unexpected.
Yeah. And so like for like the movie to kind of have that feel to it, especially when they reveal like that ghost with like the horns and stuff, I was like, oh, that's straight out of the fucking cartoon.
Okay.
You know. So if that's the feel they're going for, that's the vibe they want.
And this has the same kids in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If that's the vibe they're going for and they want, like, I'm all in that.
Right.
Like, I'll buy a ticket opening night.
Really?
Yeah, because
that into it.
Well, I mean, first off, like, I thought Afterlife, and you told me this.
Yeah.
And I believed it, but like when I watched it, like Afterlife was so fucking good.
Right.
Like I really didn't think like it was like that thing of like, you'll never capture that magic again. They couldn't capture that magic again. Ghostbusters 2 is so inferior to the original movie.
Yeah.
Like it
was horrible.
Yeah. But like so to capture that magic again and to like reboot it in a way and make it that emotional at the end.
Right.
And like, everything that went into it and like the ghost of Egon, like that was like so good. Extraordinarily well done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so to come back like for a second movie, I was when they announced like trailer comes out tomorrow, I'm like, oh man, don't let me down. You know, like I just got a bad feeling I'm gonna see a river of slime in the subways again.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're gonna be playing Nina Simone.
Yeah.
You know, and no, I mean this felt like, again, like it's a teaser trailer, like, you know, but at the same time, like I came out of that teaser trailer like feeling like I had a vibe. And to have it confirmed, like, yeah, this is what we're going for.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, okay, I think I'm all in on this then.
Okay.
You know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's... Hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah, because like that for Afterlife was so good, so well done.
Yeah. It was.
You know. And for like the other Ghostbusters to show, I'm like, yeah, Egon was right, and you know, like it's like that movie like exceeds my expectations.
Yeah.
It like, and you would put them pretty high. Like
Yeah.
you were like, you got to see it. You're gonna love it. It's emotional. You're gonna cry at the end. Like you laid down like these expectations. Like, get the fuck out of here, you know. And then I went into it. I was like, well, that Ian undersold. Because I'm an emotional wreck right now.
Yeah.
You know,
It was a good movie.
It was extraordinarily well done, and like from those first moments at the beginning of the movie, I was like, is that Egon?
Yeah.
Is that Egon? Like,
That was good.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I got nothing. It was shorty.
Yeah, me neither.
All right. All right, then. The shorty it is. Well, remember, there are a number of different ways you can reach out and touch us.
Hey.
You can send us an email, and that email address is pittsburghnerd@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast. We're very, very easy to find. And we're on a number of podcasting networks. You can find us on the Tangent Bound Network, the Weeby Geeks Network, and the Pod Breed Network. Just give them a Google search. You can find all of the great podcasts they have to offer. And lastly, as always, we want to thank you for checking us out each and every week. We can't thank you enough for your support. It means the world to us.
It does.
And on that note, the dreamer has awakened.
Peace.